think, is the way I'm setting my life up, is the way I'm setting myself up going to be of any benefit to me? And I just said to myself, you know what, this is not working. I really need to revisit the kind of relationship that I have with myself. I need to sit down and figure this out, and I need to be serious about it. Build trust with yourself. Work on yourself, not just in terms of having a set routine for your day, waking up at a certain time, drinking lots of water, exercising, just getting your work done. Make sure that working on yourself also expands into other parts of your life. Hi, community! Welcome to this week's episode of A Cupful. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you are well. I hope you're taking good care of yourself. I hope you are taking each day as it comes. So, in this week's episode, we are going to talk about building trust with ourselves, building trust with yourself. Now, when I tell you, honestly speaking, that this is something or yet another thing that I have really had to work on and focus on and learn the importance of, especially in my 20s, I mean it. Learning to trust myself has been one of the best things that I've done for myself. It has helped me navigate a lot of the challenges that I have faced and that I continue to face in a much better way, in a much more sustainable way. And I also feel like I am in charge of myself, of my life, in very specific ways, and having a good relationship with myself and being able to trust myself is really helping me take that control and helping me take the lead when I need to take the lead. I really used to struggle with trusting myself. I was really always terrified of making mistakes because I was always like, what if the next step that I'm going to take is wrong? Like, I'd really always question myself. I would definitely put myself down in front of other people. I 100% was the person that would just always like not know how to back myself, you know? I wouldn't be able to speak of myself with as much kindness and compassion as I would have needed to at that time. And I also used to really struggle with, as a former people pleaser, I also used to really struggle with only making decisions if the people around me agreed with it. And that was also a strong indicator that I didn't have that trust with myself. I hadn't built that trust with myself. I 100% also used to second guess all of my decisions. Like, is this the right thing? Am I on the right path? Is this person really supposed to be in my life? Am I really supposed to be doing this? And again, this was rooted in not having trust with myself and not having a good relationship or good enough relationship with myself to be able to say, you know what, girl, this is fine. This is what you have chosen. This is what you believe will be good for you based on whatever you have based this on. And it is also okay if this is not something that's going to work out, or if this is not going to be good for you the way you would have seen it or thought it would have been. And that's fine. We're figuring things out. We're learning. We will figure it out and see how it all pans out as we move forward with the journey. Another big thing was I didn't have clear boundaries. And that's something that will show up a lot when you don't trust yourself and you haven't built trust with yourself. Anyone can come and go in your life. Anyone can do as they please. And again, this really used to be in the form of just me allowing people to come in and out of my life as they wished. I was not a person that would be able to firmly say, okay, this is what I believe in. This is how I feel. These are the rules for being around me or in my space. This is how it is. I would adjust things to suit other people and not to suit me. And I started to realize the older I got that it's not a very sustainable approach to have, just not having a good enough relationship with trust, number one, and not having a good enough relationship with myself, and just not trusting myself and just not having my own back to a certain extent. I think I started to properly realize this after university, and after I got out of that, that phase of being in school and having made friends and having made connections and having had that whole entire university experience and all of its different aspects. I needed to step out into the world now, and stepping out into the world meant making some serious decisions. Not just bills, not just waking up and going to work every single day, but now I'm having to look deep inside myself and really reflect and think, is the way I'm setting my life up, is the way I'm setting myself up going to be of any benefit to me? And I just said to myself, you know what, this is not working. I really need to revisit the kind of relationship that I have with myself. I need to sit down and figure this out, and I need to be serious about it. So I don't think it was like one very specific thing. It was just experiencing the world from a different perspective and understanding that there is a lot of work that I need to do for myself and with myself, and I'm going to do it. And it's just been a continuous thing. Do I make mistakes sometimes, or do I find myself wondering about things, questioning myself? Yeah, but it's not like something that lingers. I'll just be like, you know what, actually no, it's fine. You've made a decision here and you need to stick with it. And according to what you used, your intellect, your own discretion, your previous experiences, this is a good enough decision. Let's move with it. Let's stick to it. Don't be wishy-washy. Just stick to what you say and see it through. Whether the outcome will be good or whether the outcome will be bad, trusting yourself. I'm learning that trusting myself means seeing things through. Sometimes I will know what the outcome will be and sometimes I won't, but I must be confident enough with myself. And in order for you to be confident enough with yourself, you need to trust yourself. So in this episode, I really just wanted to briefly share where I've come, how far I've come with trust, and where I come from with trusting myself, and really just to encourage everyone to do the same with themselves. Like, build trust with yourself, work on yourself, not just in terms of having a set routine for your day, waking up at a certain time, drinking lots of water, exercising, just getting your work done. Make sure that working on yourself also expands into other parts of your life. Building trust with yourself is a very important part of healing and growth and just overall well-being. I know for a fact that if I did not work on the relationship that I have with trust and the relationship that I have with myself and trusting myself, I definitely wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be in this position where I've started my podcast. I would not be doing all of the other things that I am pursuing at the moment. I just wouldn't have enough trust and confidence in myself to really see things through the way that I am able to now. So I really just want to encourage everyone that is listening to this episode, if you have either fallen off of building trust with yourself or you don't have that trust with yourself, start working on it now. There are so many benefits to having a good relationship with yourself and with trusting yourself. It ends up permeating and showing up in the relationships you have with other people. The more you trust yourself, the more other people are going to trust you. You are going to make better decisions. You are going to feel a lot more confident. You are just going to be a lot more intentional because of you trust yourself, because of you believe in yourself. So just work on that. Put your best foot forward when it comes to that. And again, it's not something that you do and then the task is complete. It's a destination that you're going to reach. No, it's an ongoing journey. Learning to trust yourself is something that you're going to keep doing, but as long as that is the intention, then you are on the right track. As long as that's something that you want, then you're definitely on the right track. I came across something on the internet when I was just doing a little bit of research for this episode, and it says trusting yourself is not about becoming invulnerable to fear or eradicating self-doubt. Rather, it's reclaiming the power that we surrender to our fears and choosing each day to show up from a place of faith rather than fear, of self-trust rather than self-doubt. So it's just showing up for yourself and showing up in a place that isn't filled with, oh my goodness, is this right? Am I doing this the way I'm supposed to be doing this? Rather from a place of, this is okay, and even if it doesn't turn out the way I had imagined or the way I had planned, there's something to learn from it. But I do trust myself, I am confident in myself, and I'm very open to learning and growing from this. So how are we building trust? How are we getting to a place where we are confident in ourselves and we believe in ourselves enough to do things like setting firm boundaries, not allowing people to be the ones that have the first say in our lives, not allowing doubt to take up bigger space than self-belief and self-trust? The very first thing is to be yourself and to be okay with it. Now, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with trusting yourself? Being yourself is already a good indicator. Being yourself is a big indicator that you are comfortable in your skin. And being comfortable in your skin means what? You are more likely to be okay with vouching for yourself. More than okay, actually. You are going to be a lot more enthusiastic about saying, okay, I got this. I know that this is something that I can do. I know that this is something that I can pursue. I know that this is a space that I belong in. I deserve to be in this space. I trust myself enough to handle this well. So when you show up as yourself and completely yourself and you're fine with it, then you are going to be able to already develop that level of connection and self-belief and self-trust with yourself. Number 2 is being reasonable and honest about the capacity that you have to take on certain things. You've got to do this. This one's very important. You can't want to create that trust with yourself and that having faith in yourself when you are not able to be honest about what it is that you can and cannot take on. You cannot give yourself room to just really show up for yourself the way that you need to show up for yourself when you are not being honest about what it is that you can take on and what it is that you can't. I think just like being honest in general with yourself is one way to build trust with yourself. When you can, for example, feel that this is not something that you are up for, or this is not something that you are adequately prepared for, or this is not a space that you want to be in or people that you want to be around, you are giving yourself an opportunity to say, okay, I trust myself enough to listen to this voice. I trust myself enough to analyze and then anticipate and remove myself, or otherwise, if this is something that I can do or I want to do, then I will participate in it because I trust myself to show up the way that I need to, or I know that I do not have the capacity to show up the way that I need to. The third thing is definitely to be kind to yourself and love yourself unconditionally. you know what, there's like a thing with me and unconditional love, and I've always thought that it's impossible to love yourself unconditionally, because I've had like interesting thoughts about, if I'm loving myself with no condition, will there be space for me to create boundaries? Am I giving myself room to be disciplined? Am I being realistic when I'm saying unconditional love for myself? But I'm learning an interesting different perspective, and I think I'm getting into that whole unconditional love thing. Loving yourself unconditionally will usually mean getting rid of negative thoughts about yourself and any self-criticism after you have made a mistake, because you love yourself no matter what things are looking like, no matter what you look like, no matter the kind of mistake that you have made. Because of the love that you have for yourself does not have any conditions, you are able to then say, you know what, I have made a mistake, which is fine. I'm human. I'm going to learn from it, and then I'm going to keep it going. Start by keeping a close eye on your inner voice. That's really important. How are you talking to yourself? What are you saying to yourself? When approaching yourself with unconditional love, that inner voice should be kind. It should be accepting. And when you can love yourself unconditionally, you can trust yourself unconditionally, and that builds confidence. And that confidence is also going to build into your trust with yourself. Another thing is definitely build on your strengths. That's the fourth thing. Everyone is better at some things and worse at others. That's true. It's like a normal thing. You probably have a good idea of what things you excel at and which things you don't do as well with. And you know, when you trust yourself and you believe in yourself and you know yourself, you will be able to attempt to do all things without judging yourself harshly. And sometimes you're going to realize, you're going to see that if you are really looking at things the way that you need to be looking at them, you're going to focus on things that you're good at and really build into that. So build, as I said, building into your strengths. You leave the things that you aren't so good at, and then you focus on the things that you are good at. And like I said, when you have that trust with yourself, when you've built that trust with yourself, you're going to be able to identify that, you know what, okay, let's focus on the things that we can focus on, the things that are going to help us really, really strengthen this part of ourselves, or these qualities about ourselves, or this skill. You know what I mean? I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. So definitely focus on building on your strengths. The fifth thing is one of the most important things. I believe in it. I think I'd be saying that all of these things are important because they are, but when I'm saying one of the most important things, it's one of the most important things to me personally. Spend time with yourself. This is so important. I believe in this so much. When you don't trust yourself, you might feel uncomfortable with spending time looking inwards. I know, again, I've been there. I've really been there. You might try to keep busy all day by constantly getting involved in activities or thinking about small things outside of yourself. So what you need to do is to break the habit of looking away and really focus on looking inside, because that is the only way really that you can start by building trust, if we are being honest, by spending time with yourself. I mean, all the other things I've mentioned, they are obviously significantly important, but the other thing that you need to be doing is spending time with yourself and getting to know yourself and really understanding where you're coming from and working on breaking down the things that are not good for you, unlearning them. When I say break them down, unlearning them, removing yourself from the attachment that you have from them, and then relearning a new and sustainable way of living. For sure. The sixth one is be decisive. Now, if there's something else that I have had to really, and actually let me be honest, I'm still working on this, being decisive. I know that my indecisiveness in the past, I can definitely look back and say now, and in my reflecting, that when you are indecisive, it is a huge indicator of the fact that you don't trust yourself. And because of I struggled for quite a while with trusting myself, together with the fact that I was really trying to make everyone else happy around me, and that was my main focus. I was very indecisive in the past, and I think I'm getting a lot better now because it's something that I'm intentional about working on. But that really, for me, had been rooted in the fact that I just never trusted myself. And it will lead you down a path where you are constantly questioning your actions or decisions. Sometimes you might even question who you are, and that can really hurt. So, building trust in yourself by breaking your habit of questioning your decisions is really, really, really important. Next time you make a choice or you make a decision, the best thing you can do for yourself is to stick with it. Even in the uncomfortableness, even in the uncertainty, you need to tell yourself that, like I've said in the episode, that this is how it is, and even though I don't know what the outcome might be, I'm just going to have to stick it through. The biggest attitude I can have is to just be teachable, learn from it, grow from it, and then keep it moving. And make sure that the next time I need to make a similar decision, that I am using a different strategy, different approach. I would know what to do anyways because of it didn't turn out the way I'd hoped, So I think having that approach, that mindset can be really, really helpful. Just stick to it. And yeah, that's really what you can do for yourself when you are constantly questioning yourself. It's to sit down and to say, even if I question myself over and over again, it's not going to change the outcome. There's nothing that I can do about it. I'm just going to have to see it through. Really hone in and focus on telling yourself that this is fine. This is the best that I can do. And even if this isn't the best, then I'm going to learn from the outcome of it and make sure that I do my best moving forward. So, yes, please focus on working on that decisiveness thing, because it is something that will significantly affect or influence how you move forward with your life, in your life. It is around making decisions, and if you can't stand firm in the decisions that you make, or you can't even make a decision, then it won't be helpful, sustainable. It really won't add anything into your life moving forward. It will probably be an obstacle, a constant obstacle. So yeah, work on it, work through it. These aren't easy things to work on. They really aren't. Building trust with yourself isn't an easy task. It is really much easier said than done. But like I said, when you're intentional about it and it's something that you can see the value in, you got to see the value in things, then it's something that you're going to want to do, and you're going to, as you go on, gain more confidence and just be more and more invested in it. So yeah, trusting yourself is one of the most helpful things you can do for yourself in your entire life. It can help build your confidence. It will allow others to trust you more. And it's going to make the process of decision making a lot easier because you back yourself. You've got faith in yourself. You rock with yourself. You know that even if it doesn't turn out as you had hoped for, you've done your best. You've put your best foot forward, and you had good intentions behind it. And that's really what the most important thing is. Again, just be teachable, be open, and take trusting yourself and building trust with yourself seriously. Don't see it as a destination you're going to reach. See it as an ongoing journey, a very intimate and beautiful and important ongoing journey. This is where we are ending this week's episode. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, I really appreciate that you have reached this part of the episode, the literal end. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please don't forget that A Cupful is available on all listening platforms. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Anchor, Amazon Music, Castbox, everywhere. It's pretty much everywhere. So please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend to listen, to enjoy this space. Share it as far and wide as you possibly can. Please, 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 please. If you find yourself coming back here every now and again, please also give the podcast a 5-star rating. You can also leave any comments that you have in the comment box on any of the listening platforms that you might be listening from. I would really, really appreciate your thoughts. A Cupful is also on Instagram. The handle is @A_cupful. All comments are welcome. There is an opportunity to send a DM or to even comment on the post of the week. The post of the week being the post that I put up to announce that an episode has been released. So please do that if that's something that you are keen to do. Thank you again. I appreciate you. I appreciate the time that you take to listen to me talking about whatever I would be talking about. I have grown so much and learned so much from this podcast. I feel very, very, very blessed that I have an opportunity to share this space with all of you. Have a beautiful remainder of this week. Rest when you need to, work when you need to, be kind to yourself and others. Just take the time to truly live your life to the fullest, and don't forget to keep doing the things that fill your cup.